nightcap. More prizes and more winners.
You are a winner.
Yay!
It's Get Up Mornings. Hello, who is this?
This is Leanna.
Hi, Leanna. Where you calling from?
Houston, Texas.
Houston, Texas.
Down.
Leanna, what is the word of the day?
Party. Join the party, y'all.
Hey! Congratulations. You win $100 in Erica Campbell's cash and a chance for a trip for two to fly away to Atlanta. Airfare, hotel, ground transportation, and a chance to meet and greet some of your favorite gospel artists. How you feeling?
I'm claiming that too.
Come on, come on.
No, that's right.
Now tell us, what show just made you a winner?
Get Up Mornings with Erica Campbell.
Show did. Congratulations.
I have so many friends that are not.
Hi, I'm Jacqueline Carr, and here is your winning strategy. Before you could borrow money from banks, there was Jesus. He put the money in the fish's mouth and told Peter to go fishing and get the money out of the fish's mouth. Matthew chapter 17, verses 24 through 26. I want you to understand that when you borrow money from the bank, you got to pay it back. Peter didn't have to pay it back. God wants you to know and to understand that what he gives to you, you don't have to pay it back. You don't have to work for it. He's going to release it into your hands because of your faith and your belief in the supernatural. God wants you to trust in him, even if you never get the right credit score, to get the house that you desire. Where there is a will, there is a way. If you have the fight and it's in God's will, he will make a way.
What's up? This is Riley. And a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A Grilled Chicken Club sandwich is the Applewood bacon. It's savory and then it's also kind of sweet. And I think the combination of bacon with chicken and Colby Jack cheese, it just really knocks it out of the park.
Hey, I'm Tanea. A little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A Grilled Chicken Club sandwich is the chicken. It's so juicy. It's grilled to perfection. I'm going to devour this sandwich.
Order the Grilled Chicken Club sandwich on the Chick-fil-A app today. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
To celebrate State Farm's surprisingly great rates, we gave this song surprisingly great lyrics.
Here we go. It's so cheap. Yeah, got a great rate on the down low. 'Cause Jake isn't your average Joe. Hard to believe. Yeah, nobody does it like State Farm do. Never knew the rates were this low. Oh, they ain't that steep.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Are you paying too much for term life insurance? There's a tremendous price war among the major term life companies. Rates have dropped dramatically in the past 2 years. For example, a man age 45 non-tobacco user, $1 million of coverage is only $75 per month, level for the next 10 years. Or a man age 50 non-tobacco user can buy $500,000 of coverage for a monthly premium of only $110, guaranteed not to change for the next 20 years. That's right, level rates for 20 years. And if you're a smoker, we have great rates for you as well. At the Term Lifeline, we specialize in policies of $500,000 and above. So if you're looking for new or replacement term life insurance, call right now for a free quote.
Rates and availability may vary by state. Sample rate quotes are based on preferred non-tobacco underwriting exam required to qualify.
800-298-0139. 800-298-0139. 800-298-0139. That's 800-298-0139.
Hello, this is Claude Cummings Jr., Vice President of Communication Workers of America District 6. Trey and I are inviting you to listen in to our new political talk show, Power to the People Political Hour.
Hello, this is Trey Daniels from the Daniels Group. Yes, Claude, the show will be hard-hitting and informative, talking about national and local political issues of the day, week, and month. Interviews will be with pastors, community leaders, elected officials, and political operatives. You know, Claude, a part of our responsibility is informing the citizenry and give them power to the people.
That's right, Trey. We're asking that you listen in on 1140 AM, 92.3, or streaming on KYOKradio.org, Thursdays at 10 a.m.
Give people what they want.
The legendary KYOK 1140 AM and 92.3 FM. The legend continues.
The views and opinions expressed on all radio shows broadcast on KYOK are entirely those of the host,
guests, and callers who are entirely responsible for all show content and do not in any way reflect the opinions of KYOK Radio, its sponsors, staff, or management.
All right, y'all, back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I'm streaming live on kyokradio.org. And again, for those who have been paying attention, hurricane, tropical storm, back to hurricane, back to tropical storm, drop down to a tropical depression. Nicholas has come through our area, and a lot of folks are dealing with that this morning. I am, blessed that I've been able to get to the station and get the show on the air. A lot of areas are without electricity or power, as they say. My area is one of them, but a lot of folks are dealing with flood damage, some dealing with wind damage, and a lot of different things. And then a lot of folks, literally went unscathed. So please send your sincere thoughts, prayers, positive energy, whatever it is that you subscribe to, send it this way, and then send it towards Louisiana, because the storm is slow moving, but it's heading to the east, and that area is still dealing from the effects of Hurricane Ida. So our sincere thoughts and prayers go out to that area as well. So again, just glad to be in the building, getting ready for another good show. It's Talk Your Team Tuesday, and man, a lot to talk about. This past NFL weekend, this past weekend in college football. I don't know if Longhorn Keith or Todd are going to be able to call in today, not because of the game, but because of the weather and everything, but would love to get their thoughts on Steve Sarkisian so far. He's been able to get them past University of Louisiana, but was very unable to get them prepared for Arkansas. Not one of the top teams in the SEC, but a team that manhandled UT in every phase of the game. In fact, UT made a quarterback change, and I'm curious if they're going to start with who they went to or who they went with initially in that game. Of course, The Ohio State University stumbled against Oregon, and let me just tell you, Ohio State is not going to win diddly squat with that type of defensive play. I mean, that is what did them in. A lot of folks wanted to talk about C.J. Stroud and how he keeps throwing the ball high and what have you. I'm going to say this a lot today as we talk our team, especially from the game last night. When you show me where C.J. Stroud blew a coverage in the secondary, when you show me a tackle missed by C.J. Stroud, when you show me where C.J. Stroud got blown off the ball defensively, then yeah, I'll talk to you about a change at the quarterback. Same thing last night with Lamar Jackson. Got a bunch of messages already. When are they going to realize that the NFL has caught up to Lamar Jackson? That's one of the dumbest statements ever. It's one of the dumbest statements ever. The league doesn't catch up to a guy that gifted. And again, show me where he missed a tackle. Show me where he missed blew a coverage. Show me where he got beat on that touchdown pass that won the game. And I'll talk to you then about Lamar Jackson doing something different. Is it time to move on from Josh Allen? Is it time to move on from Aaron Rodgers? We never want to have the full conversation. We just want to have the conversation when it's somebody like Lamar Jackson, C.J. Stroud, or somebody like that. So it's Talk Your Team Tuesday. You talk your team. Get at me, 281-453-1000, 281-453-1000. Also, you can text me, 832-403-5005. That's 832-403-5005. I remember somebody telling me that Tom Brady was done too. Yeah, there's somebody that definitely knows football right there. We'll be right back right after this.
If Ernest Hemingway was alive today, would he say this to you?
Shakespeare, Mark Twain, Edgar Allan Poe, all great writers. And after reading your book,
I simply must add you to the list. Wait, you don't have a book yet. So make a free call to Page Publishing. Their expert staff can help you turn your book idea into a real book, a masterpiece that could someday make the bestseller list in hard copy and digitally all across the world. Page Publishing can help you completely take your idea for a book, write it, and publish it. So if you want to join the ranks of some of the most famous authors in the world, call now for a free information kit. Turn your book idea into publishing gold. Make a free call right now to Page Publishing.
800-219-8332. 800-219-8332. 800-219-8332. That's 800-219-8332.
Remember in the beginning, when you first started to build a life for you and your family, you never imagined it would come to this. Instead of living your dreams, you are living with debt. In fact, it's smothering you. Now there's a way you can take back control with one simple call. If you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt, you qualify to receive a free, no-obligation consultation on how to get rid of that debt for good. Call the Debt Helpline now. We work on your behalf to reduce your debt. We specialize in credit cards, retail store cards, and medical bills. One simple call is all it takes to get the ball rolling to a debt-free life. Stop living with debt and start living your dreams. Call the Debt Helpline now.
800-958-2156. 800-958-2156. 800-958-2156. That's 800-958-2156.
Tune in to Table Talk with your boy, TD Blackshear, every Tuesday from 10 to 11 a.m. on the legendary KYOK 1140 a.m. and 92.3 FM. See you there.
In need of tires? Check out OMG Tire Services and more. New and used tires, all the name brands you desire, located at 3126 Tidwell between 59 North and Jensen. Give them a call at 832-767-3211. Top-notch service from beginning to end. When you're done, get your car hand-washed inside and out at OMG Tire Services and more. Located at 3126 Tidwell between 59 North and Jensen. Call 832-767-3211. That's 832-767-3211. Conveniently located on the north side.
The legendary KYOK 1140 AM. The legendary KYOK 92.3 FM. Radio stations in one.
Hi, I'm Larry Scott, host of the Not So Christian and Me Show. Join me Saturdays for great fun, interviews, music, and the latest news surrounding our world today. We are the show that cares to hear your voice and opinion with real conversation in a no judgment zone. So join me Saturdays from 1 to 2 p.m. on the Not So Christian and Me Show, right here on the legendary KYOK Radio, 1140 AM, and the all-new 92.3 FM and KYOKradio.org. I'm Ben Tankard, and you are listening to The Lunch Break.
All right, y'all, we're back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. It is Talk Your Team Tuesday. Keith Hennig said the Longhorns are starting Thompson this week. All right, we'll see how that works out. Milo says this could be the year that Michigan beats Ohio State. It's Talk Your Team Tuesday, so, you go ahead and say what you got to say. But, look, I'm like Nelly and the Loonies, man. I need 2 pair. Give me 2 pairs so I can get to stepping in my Ohio State Force Ones because they lost 1 game to a top 10 team in the country. It's not like they lost to Arkansas. I'm just saying. I had to get that in. Todd Malcolm said, man, your school lost to a track team. I said, bruh, your team lost to a tractor team. They driving tractors in Arkansas. Y'all lost. Hello, you live on the lunch break. Who's this?
Brother AJ Ferdinand.
I'm talking that noise today, Ferdinand. You see me? You see me?
Man, you see me cut up the other day, so sometimes you gotta do. Man's gotta do what a man's gotta do.
Man gotta do what a man's gotta do. What's going on with you, Doc?
Man, a lot of great football. And for those that are, so offensive toward Lamar Jackson, man, Lamar gonna be okay. He made some mistakes, but the thing about it is, AJ, the score should have been the same way I told you it was gonna be, right around 28 14.
Yeah, let me just say, bro, and I'm calling it out today, man. I'm tired of these ignorant, and I'm not calling the person or the people ignorant. I'm talking about the take. This whole, the league is about to catch up to. That's an ignorant take. You don't catch up to a player. It's not like he's one-on-one with somebody else on the other team. It's not tennis. It's a team sport. So, have the Baltimore Ravens been able to keep a scheme in place that allows Lamar Jackson's skill set to be, used at its best ability? No, but it's a game of this and that. The other team comes up with a scheme, you try to adjust to it. I just don't get how people love to use that kind of ignorant take with one guy. But is it true for Aaron Rodgers? Is it true for Josh Allen? Is it true for all the other quarterbacks that lost this weekend?
Man, Green Bay loss was embarrassing.
Bruh.
It was way embarrassing, AJ.
And I got news. Let me say this real quick. I'm going to let you talk, man. I feel like Kanye. I'm going to let you finish. But first, Aaron Rodgers better be glad he don't have a dude like Boogie Cousins on his team, because Aaron talks a whole lot of smack. And somebody need to pull him aside and say, yo, number 4, you didn't play too well yourself.
You're absolutely right. But, Aaron Rodgers, he reminded me of Baker Mayfield, of a whole bunch of hot air. It takes a team sport. I don't care how good you are as an individual. Football is a team sport. So, like I say, man, Aaron Rodgers, they got a long, long season. And when it goes back to Lamar Jackson, the defense gave up 2 touchdowns, AJ, that should have never happened. Lamar, he made some costly mistakes like quarterbacks do. Is Lamar to be thrown out the seat and be ridiculed? Absolutely not. That's greatness. Trust you me, when they got so many injuries, AJ, Baltimore has a lot of injuries. But when Le'Veon and the crew get right, we'll see Lamar in the playoffs. You can't say that about a whole bunch of other teams. So they got something to build on.
Yeah.
They lost game 1, open season. But go back and just watch film. Go back and see the minor mental mistakes that one made. Because, look, Lamar can take off at any given time. He's trying to do the system. He's trying to stay in the pocket. He did a great job. Like I said, made a couple mistakes, but who don't? What football team doesn't make mistakes? So that game there, it's okay. Game 5, I'll judge all the teams, and I'll go over everything, and then we'll see Game 5 when teams take off. Now, when it goes to my team, Pittsburgh, what can you say about it?
Yeah. Hey, well, listen. Let's don't say that real low. Say that real loud with your chest. I know somebody, I ain't going to call his name, AJ Jones, that picked Pittsburgh over Buffalo, and a whole bunch of folks told me I was crazy. They told me Buffalo was going to possibly win 16 games in a row this year. I was like, oh, okay. All right.
Now, don't get me wrong. Buffalo has truly improved, but Buffalo will never be better than Pittsburgh. The structure that Pittsburgh have, Buffalo can be right there. But if they come head to head, I'll still pick Pittsburgh. A veteran team, a great coach, and they have some decent weapons. They've added to their team, just like the Houston Texans did. Once you add to your team on what you have and you're going forward, that's a plus for anybody. But when you don't add to your team on your roster, then okay, if you're going to stagnate yourself, AJ, because you're not making improvement. So some teams have made great improvements, and you will see this year because the football is, man, it's lovely starting out.
Yeah. Well, I said this. I said if Big Ben don't turn the ball over, if Big Ben gives that defense a chance to do what a lot of folks underestimated them with last year, then they had a good shot. Of course, Bud Dupree being gone, I was a little concerned. But, baby, that defense was putting it on Buffalo. Putting it on Josh Allen, putting it on that running game for Buffalo. So, I like what I saw. It's week 1. I'm not going to overreact, but that was one of the toughest matchups for the Steelers this year. Obviously, they got Baltimore twice. They got Cleveland twice. But that non-conference, division game was huge, and they handled it week 1.
Absolutely. AJ, look at this. If Big Ben doesn't get hurt, if Big Ben don't get the big numbers, one thing Big Ben should be able to do now, AJ, in this day and time, is manage a game.
Right. No, I agree.
So with the weapons that they have, if Big Ben plays a no turnover game, I promise you, he can manage the game enough to where he can put his team in position to win. He's only one guy.
Yep.
If Big Ben manage the game and be mistake free and watch what Pittsburgh does. I'm like you. I don't want to just jump out and tell them how Pittsburgh is going to be this or that, but I will be, talking crazy in a couple weeks. I promise you that.
Yeah. I like that. Listen, I'm going to chill out right now, but about 3-4 weeks.
Yeah. Y'all ain't going to like Ferdinand. Y'all ain't going to like me.
How you like me now?
Yeah. And I get to the Texans and I get off. Look. As I told you, the Texans are going to be okay. I know a lot of people don't like what has transpired in the last couple of years, but they got some weapons. The run game is phenomenal. To win in the NFL, you need a run game. So we saw the decency of the run game on yesterday. So, AJ, look, on Sunday, we hadn't had these type of running backs, I don't think, since Arian Foster. And so right now you got a good chemistry towards the run game. And so that run game is really, really going to help out. Tyrod Taylor did a phenomenal job. That's all you ask a quarterback to do. Go in, do your job. They did their jobs on both sides of the field. Lovie Smith team did a wonderful job. So just play hard every week, Texans, and you can get wins.
Yeah, what I love is that Lovie Smith has put Whitney Mercilus in a position where he can be who they thought he would be years ago. It was one game, but I haven't heard Whitney Mercilus' name called as much as I did Sunday in a long time. And I said it's Lovie Smith 1, Urban Meyer 0, because Lovie Smith's defense is what helps shut Urban Meyer's offense down.
Chemistry is key. And one thing we know what kind of coach Lovie Smith is, you know how to coach players. You got a lot of coaches that have favorites, but man, when you know how to utilize your players, move them from position to position, and you get the best that you can out of your players, you can't expect nothing but wins, AJ. And so I'm glad that Love is there. And like I said, that's a good combo. Nobody knows too much about David Culley, but he has coached on some championship teams. And when you get two championship guys that are not in each other's way, but are willing to work together, those are some of the results that the Texans have this year.
Yeah, let's go ahead and put you on the record, Ferdinand. Who you got this weekend? Texans visit Cleveland. Cleveland going to be mad as Hades after blowing that lead and losing to a Kansas City team that they believed and thought that they could beat.
Well, look here. And I had picked Cleveland to beat Kansas City. I don't even know why I had checked that off the wrong way. Look, I'm going Houston. Houston is ready than ever been. I'm a fan of what Lovie Smith is capable of doing. And I promise you, Lovie Smith can shut down Disco Ball. I promise you that. So look here, Doc. You're going to look for a dog fight. And the dog's going to come out victorious. So do Cleveland have some dog in them? I don't know. We'll see. But the Texans are right where they need to be. They don't have nothing but the game. You only won 4 games last year. You have absolutely nothing to use. You throw everything and the kitchen sink in and see what you come up with.
That's true. True, Ferdinand. That's true. All right, brother. Be safe out there. Tell my sister I said hello.
All right. Appreciate it. Have a good one, man.
All right. You too. All right. Good call. Ferdinand said Texans over Cleveland. Man, I don't know if I'm ready to make that statement, but he said it with his chest. All right. Hello. You're live on the lunch break. Who's this?
What's going on, brothers? Longhorn Keith.
Longhorn Keith. You know what? You're a grown man. You are a grown man. I want you to know you're a grown man.
Yes, sir.
Because, hey, man, the way that the Longhorns got beat like it was an FCS payday game, and you called in here like a grown man, you didn't use a fake name, you didn't try to change your voice, you're not hiding like Todd. Todd back in witness protection today. Todd talking about your team got beat by a track school. Your team got beat by a tractor school. They riding in John Deere's over there in Arkansas and ran through the Longhorns like, bruh, give me the real deal. You a fan. Talk your team.
Yeah, so, as a matter of fact, let me say this real quick. Shout out to Ferdinand. I love that brother because he is faithful to his team, and there's no changing about it. So I love that. Here's the sad thing, right? So I don't know if I told you about this, but when the season started and Steve Sarkisian announced that Hudson Card would be the starter for this first game, I made a post on a Longhorn fan page and I adamantly disagreed with the decision to go with Hudson Card. And I had my reasons simply because going into the season, going into a hostile environment like Arkansas, and kicking the season off with Louisiana, I thought that, hey, you needed a kid with a little bit of experience. And the first game proved to be, well, he did his thing. He managed the game. And then we get into the second game, and everything that I had concerns with were exposed. And that was, you cannot put a young kid who's a redshirt freshman starting for the first time in that type of environment and not give him the offense that he needs to be successful. And more importantly, I mean, you got to bail him out. You got to help him help himself. And from that perspective, I got murdered. Let me just tell you, I had some people coming at me, you're a bozo, you're a clown. And of course, you know, I just said, well, listen, man, your opinion is your opinion. I have a right to my opinion, you know, and I was trying to be polite about it, but I screenshotted the comments that I got for this purpose. Because I knew Casey was going to be started at some point simply because Casey is just a true competitor. And I'm not saying that he's going to win us a national championship, but when you have somebody who has be it limited as it may be, but still has the experience on this level, you cannot tell me I am going to go with somebody inexperienced because this experienced kid has shown me that he is turnover prone, or this inexperienced kid has, and this is the part that kills me, like it drives me insane. Todd and I argue about this all the time. He has the arm talent. And I say to Todd and everyone who always talks about arm talent, what does that do for you in a game? Like literally, rarely have I seen someone with quote unquote arm talent win a football game for a football team. I'd rather have a kid who has the moxie, who has the guts to get the job done by whatever means. And so, long story short, man, that announcement yesterday was sweet music to my ears. Albeit, I'm a little disappointed that it came after this loss. But we got our butts whipped, and in fairness, we got to be truthful about it. And I text you guys about it. It was horrible coaching. Absolutely horrible coaching. People talk about the offensive line and defensive line, rightfully so. But, AJ, let me ask you a question. You were talking to some coaches yesterday from the HBCU. And if you have an issue with a particular position group, or if you have an issue, period, but this is what you're going to war with, do you continue to try and say, this is my weakest area, and I know this is your strongest area, but I'm still go at it anyway?
Yeah.
Do you continue to do that? Like, who does that?
No, you don't. No, that's if insanity had a face, it would look just like that.
Exactly. Right? And so I was horribly disappointed. And actually, and I said this yesterday, where people are like, oh, you're getting to this overreaction. But here's the deal, man. I'm really concerned with Steve Sarkisian's decision making. And here's the reason why. When he was, quote unquote, the greatest offensive, or named the greatest offensive play caller, last few years in football, everybody was giving him this praise. And I said this to my brother yesterday. That's all fine and good. Yes, you can be a great offensive play caller when you have somebody above you that's holding you accountable. For example, if you call two plays back to back and the person above you, who is your head coach, goes, no, wait, we're not running that one now. Okay, we can do it. We did it one time, but we ain't doing it two times. And now that you're the head coach and the offensive play caller and nobody's holding you accountable, it exposes who you really are.
Yeah.
And that is, man, what he did the other night, this is true statements, AJ. 5 straight series. I can't make this up. Go back and watch the film. 5 straight series, first and second down. He runs the ball to Bijan Robinson 5 straight times on first and second down. Arkansas is good, but listen, we can be good when we know what you're doing.
Yep. I don't know where that book is, but Bill O'Brien, Houston Texan Bill O'Brien, offensive coordinator, did the same thing. Would run the ball on first down all the time. Like you could set your clock. Like you don't even have to pay attention to the game. Oh, they run. It must be first down. Dang, it sure was. I mean, I don't know what playbook that came from or what great coach, said that's the philosophy, but that's crazy to me. Bill Walsh didn't do that. I know that. And Keith Hennig said 28-3. As great of a play caller as he was, that 28-3. Yeah. Yeah. But wait a minute, Keith. That was Kyle Shanahan though. I can't put that on Steve Sarkisian. That was Kyle Shanahan.
What? Oh, the 28-3.
Yeah.
Well, so here's the deal. I still respect Steve Sarkisian. It's not that but I do want to express a level of concern for anyone who is stubborn enough to two things. One, to ignore the fact that you have an experienced quarterback and go with a younger quarterback.
Right. I give you that.
Right, and people excuse that just because he's quote unquote the quarterback guru.
Right, I give you that.
You know what I mean? And then the other part is, if you're stubborn enough to continue to run the ball against a team who is whacking you at the line, and you literally ran the ball 10 times for 2 yards.
Yeah, you're wasting downs.
At some point. Right.
You're wasting downs. You're wasting time on the clock, and it's not like he was using that to set something else up. And that's the part where you for those who know a little bit more about the game than what they see on TV, that's where you got to question play calling and preparation. If you're doing that to set something up, heck, North Carolina A&T was playing Duke, and North Carolina A&T did this little bow kind of thing behind the play, and even the color analyst said, I wonder if they're setting something up with that, and sure enough, they did. So, when it's that's one thing. But when you're just going through the, first 15 scripted plays of the game and you look like you're continuing to do that later on in the game, the Longhorns did not score in that game until the second half. They got shut out in the first half of that game. Let me say it slow, against Arkansas.
Yeah. And listen, and we should be embarrassed by that, but I'll just say this. I'll take a lot of that blame and lay it at the feet of every single one of those coaches, and mainly the head coach.
Yeah.
You are an offensive, as they call you, the greatest offensive mind in the game, and you cannot score against a 3-man front.
Bruh.
And more importantly, you put a young kid in 3rd and long 5 straight series, and you expected him to do what? Like, I don't.
Against a 3-man front. That's the part that was killing me. It wasn't stunts and all that. It was a 3-man front where 3 were literally beating 5. And it was that's what's embarrassing on a level that you and Todd have both talked about it. The recruiting at UT has got to get better, because in the trenches and in the skill players, it made Arkansas look like they were superior. Other than Bijan, there was nobody on that field for UT that looked like they were exceptional.
Yeah, and other than Bijan, there's nobody on that team currently that's at an NFL level that will be playing at the next level. Yeah. There's just not.
Yeah.
As much as those guys like to think that they are, unfortunately, unless they walk on somewhere or they're an undrafted free agent. But at the end of the day, we can all say that, and we definitely agree that the recruiting should get better. But just like I tell people, you play with the hand that you're dealt with.
Agree.
Sitting at the table.
Yep.
And when you're sitting at that table and you absolutely refuse to give your offensive linemen some help, to give your redshirt freshmen some help. But see, I'll tell you, to me, and I've coached the game as well, one of the things that I've always done when I've had inexperienced or rookie or people who may not be at the same level as the people they're facing is I create opportunities that give them the best chance to win. And that is, you put in a quarterback that gives you, if he can RPO, the other defense has to account for him, and they don't come up the field as fast.
Right.
So now they've got to slow their rush, and that gives the offensive line, who may be a little weaker, a little extra push on that guy. Right. But if you don't do that, you just continue to do this foolishness, it makes me question whether or not you really care. I don't know, man. It was just really frustrating.
Yeah, no, I got it. I appreciate the call, Keith. Got to get ready to go. But, man, listen, again, you're a real dude, bro. You're a real dude. I believe they're going to beat Rice.
We'll be back this week. Yeah. I think we're going to beat Rice. I think they're giving us 7 points to, because we're playing Rice at home, and Rice is a very formidable foe, and they're bringing a lot of experience. And so we may need to take those 7 points to start the game. But I think Rice is going to come in with a great game.
Well, look, let me say this, and all seriousness. Beat Rice, but if they lose one of the next 2 after that, Texas Tech or at TCU, you're in trouble. I mean, seriously, you're in trouble. There's no way this Longhorn team should lose to Texas Tech or at TCU, because after that, you've got Oklahoma State. 2 weeks after that, you got Iowa State. So I'm just saying, don't stumble in either of those 2 weeks, and it should be back on par.
We shall see, man. We'll keep our fingers crossed. As always, brother, good talking to you, and I'll holler at you later, man.
Hey, tell everybody where they can find you on your great show, man.
Yeah, Coffee with Keith every Saturday, noon to 1, right here on the legendary KYOK. This weekend, I'm talking to Giselle from Sueños Coffee, a young lady who basically is doing an all-women operated coffee company. And she's from Puerto Rico, Puerto Rican, but grew up in New York, but now is in North Carolina. We're going to have a wonderful conversation talking about what she's doing with coffee, and then we're going to give out some cool prizes. So if you can, tune in, tell a friend. Coffee with Keith every Saturday, noon to 1, right here on the legendary KYOK. I hope to see you, or I hope to get a chance to listen to us.
Man, I love your show. I love your circle, man. Your community is phenomenal, bruh.
Man, aren't they? Oh, they're great, man. Absolutely great.
Yeah. Love you, Keith. Talk to you soon, man.
Love you too, bro. All right, take care, man.
All right, I know I got a caller standing by. Please, caller, don't hang up. Stay right there. I've got to take this quick break. Be right back right after this on the lunch break. And just like that, my break went away. So let me get the caller on. Hello, you're live on the lunch break. Who's this?
AJ, it's Todd.
Oh, no. You done slipped out of witness protection. They told you. They told you don't make no phone calls. You done run to the corner store, got on that pay phone, and now you trying to call your brother. Them people gonna find you.
So let's talk up. Let's chop up this football.
Look, them people from Arkansas gonna find you.
Man, I'm about to get my uncle John Gruden on the phone. What he did to your Ravens. John Gruden said, AJ, I've been waiting for this day.
Hey, man, let me tell you something. I give credit where credit is due. And for Gruden to keep his team in that game when it looked like Baltimore was going to, run away with it, man, I got to give credit where credit is. And Derek Carr hung in there, found the man, got him the ball, and let him do what he did, so I can't be mad, but I'm not going with the league has caught up with Lamar Jackson. Lamar didn't miss one tackle. Lamar didn't blow a coverage. Lamar didn't play bad defense. So I'll leave it at that. You score 27 points, you should win the game. You score 27, you should win.
Yep.
Oh, I'm sorry. And he led the team. And he led the team in rushing. Go ahead. I'll leave it alone. Go ahead, Todd.
All right. So let's talk up this college football, because I've been thinking on this for a few weeks now since the season started. So 2 things I've noticed in the first 2 weeks of college football is we're seeing more lesser name programs beat bigger name programs, right? Let me give you some examples. Jacksonville State beating Florida State at home. Montana beating Washington, okay?
I'm gonna give you credit. Let me give you credit for a second, because I went in on the ESPN color analyst in the North Carolina A&T Duke game because it took him 3 minutes and 30 seconds to call them a lesser opponent. You didn't say lesser opponent. You didn't say lesser school. You said lesser names, and I can agree with that.
Lesser name.
Right. Jacksonville State definitely doesn't have the name recognition that Florida State has. So I applaud you for that, Todd. Thank you.
Yeah, so I think we've, as fans, we look at we look on our phone, we look at, week 3, ESPN, who's playing. And I think, I've been guilty of this too, what the transfer portal has done is taken these programs, like I said, that would be a lesser name, and they're now getting really good players. So I don't think these quote unquote upsets in week 1 and week 2, I don't think these are just one-offs. I think this is something you're going to see in non-conference play moving forward, because the transfer portal has allowed like the Texas States, the Jacksonville States, the Montanas, Northern Iowa.
Yeah, don't forget Alcorn. Alcorn beat Northwestern State, and that's a team that battles against Stephen F. Austin, Sam Houston for that FCF championship. So you're right. I think you're absolutely right, and that's why I said, Todd, I'm not mad about the transfer portal at all. There are people that have been in the game a long time and swear that it's killing the game. Nonsense. It's changing the game, but it's not killing the game.
No, it's creating parity where these programs are now getting good transfers from these bigger name programs, and they can compete. I'll give you another example. Stephen F. Austin almost beat Tech over the weekend.
I saw that.
So so the question is why, right? So that the question is why, and with the transfer portal, it's allowed these kids to move around more. These kids want to play more than anything. If you could ask 100 college football players, what's more important to you out of these two things? Playing a lot, being a starter on the football team, or being a bench player on a team that wins a conference championship? The majority of them are say, I would rather play, And so, now let me tie all of that into what we saw happen with Texas and Arkansas, right? So I've been thinking about the Texas program and okay, what's the realistic expectation? So let's look at what Texas walked into that game with, right? The offensive line is bad. That's nothing new for me and Keith. We've been watching that same bad offensive line for 5 years, right? And you got two quarterbacks going into that game that never started a road game. Those are facts, right? And then, so if you look around the country, let's look at the other young quarterbacks that started their first game. You got the kid at A&M that broke his ankle against Colorado, but the week before that, Haynes King, he played against Kent State. He threw 3 picks, right? So let's go to Spencer Rattler the year before. His first 2 games, college starts, right? He opens up at home against K-State, throws 3 picks. He loses. He goes on the road to Iowa State, throws 2 picks. He loses. So if you take the combination of Texas, you got a bad offensive line, you got 2 inexperienced quarterbacks that have never started a road game, and then you walk into that environment where probably the Arkansas fans hate the Texas fans more than the Texas fans hate the Arkansas fans. That's pretty much a recipe for what you saw. Now, what Keith's point said is, why did you keep running the ball, right? Let's talk about that, okay? And you kind of answered the question for him, AJ. What front was Arkansas running? A 3-man front, right? So Sark kept going to the run. He's like, dude, we got 5 offensive linemen. They got 3 defensive linemen, right? We should. So Arkansas's defense is basically 3 defensive linemen, right? And, you got 3 linebackers basically, and they run a 3 high safety set with that guy Catalon right in the middle, and they got 2 corners on the outside, right? They're basically saying, we are not going to give up the deep play. We're going to make you go a 12 to 15 drive all the way down the field and hopefully limit you to a field goal, okay? We're We're going to make you throw everything underneath. So if someone's running a 3-man front, on the surface, you should be able to run the ball and then hopefully get them out of that 3-man front, or Texas just couldn't do it, for whatever reason. But, that's theoretically how you beat that Arkansas team is, or a 3-man front in general. If they're going to put you in a 3-man front, you should be able to run the ball. If you can't, and then you just start dropping back and throwing it, you're dropping back. Check this out, AJ. Now you're throwing against guys dropping 8 in coverage, which is exactly what they want you to do.
Right.
So I'm not making excuses for them.
No. That's factual, legitimate analyzation of your team, and I can't say nothing but you're right. I can't say anything but you're right. Todd, stay right there. Let me hit Sybil Wilkes and then get the top of the hour going. You got a moment to hang on with me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, stay right there. Todd Malcolm joining me, him, Longhorn Keith. I like to have them on Talk Your Team Tuesday because they are two of the biggest Longhorn fans that I know of. And with everything going on with UT, this is just really good discussion. This is a glimpse of what things could possibly be like when they transition over to the SEC. All right, so listen, let me get Sybil Wilkes on. She'll give us what you need to know. We'll hit the top of the hour, and then we'll be right back with more right after this. Talk Your Team Tuesday on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM.
It's Sybil Wilkes with what you need to know. Every 10 years following the federal census, all federal, state, and local election district boundaries must be redrawn or revised. Redistricting is defined as the process of creating new congressional and state legislative district boundaries. Challenges are underway across the country by residents in the minority party of their respective states, as majority parties are making the redistricting decisions. The Small Business Administration announced improvements to its disaster loan program in an effort to help more small businesses access financial support as the Delta variant continues to affect businesses nationwide. The agency is raising loan limits in its economic injury disaster loan program, low interest loans to be paid back over 30 years from $500,000 to $2 million. And for 30 days, the agency will only approve and disperse funds for loans of $500,000 or less to ensure that the smallest businesses have access to relief funds. I'm Sybil Wilkes. Be informed, be empowered.
1140 AM, KYOK Conroe, and 92.3 FM, K222CX Houston.
The views and opinions expressed on all radio shows broadcast on KYOK are entirely those of the hosts, guests, and callers, who are entirely responsible for all show content and do not in any way reflect the opinions of KYOK Radio, its sponsors, staff, or management.
All right, y'all, back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM, streaming live, KYOKradio.org. It's Talk Your Team Tuesday. I got Todd Malcolm on. Todd, appreciate you holding on for that extra couple of minutes there. What do you think about the change at quarterback that the Longhorns are making this week?
I mean, that's a good question. To be honest with you, do I think it moves the needle a whole lot? No, because does it fix the offensive line? No. They're still going to be bad, right? I mean, they may get a little better this week, watching game tape, stuff like that. But I've always felt the offensive line is the engine to every offense, right? Let me give you an example. Patrick Mahomes is a great quarterback, right? What did we see in the Super Bowl last year when his two starters were out? The Buccaneers tore them up, right? Patrick Mahomes did not look like his normal self without his left tackle, and then there was another starter that they were missing as well. So to me, with Texas and any team, it starts with the line. Like, Oklahoma has been great for years, but they've also had a great offensive line, sending linemen to the NFL every single year. So if Patrick Mahomes struggles and Tom Brady can struggle in a Super Bowl against the Giants with Strahan, Human Urine, all those guys getting after him, you have to fix that. And if you fix that, the quarterback play will automatically get better.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with you at all. I don't care how great your quarterback is. If you don't have time to be great, kills that level of greatness. At least it's Rice, so you'll get a chance to see, hopefully, and I say that tongue-in-cheek, given what happened with Jacksonville State and Alcorn and some of the other schools, hopefully he'll get a chance to get some confidence under himself, get a chance to get that speed of the game locked in, some momentum, get in his flow, his rhythm. Because as I said with Keith, don't lose one of the next 2 games. There's no way you can lose to Texas Tech or TCU, God forbid both, heading into Oklahoma, having Oklahoma State right down the street, Iowa State right down the street. Just there's no way you can stumble in either of those next 2 games and there be some legitimacy. I mean, that just can't happen.
So, I've been thinking about that too. So with the offensive line, I look at a couple of big things that I look at. One thing maybe the Texas fan base overlooked when they were adamant, hey, we gotta fire Tom Herman, gotta get him up out of here. Okay, so you fire Tom Herman, you tip the table over, and everything the players have known under Tom the last 4 years, that's gone. Okay, that's fine. So now the defensive players are now learning from their 3rd defensive coordinator in 3 years. Okay, brand new system. On offense, third offensive coordinator in 3 years, right? And AJ, we talked about this before, I think with another quarterback, and I can't remember. Oh, Jameis, that was it. Remember when we go back and forth playfully about Jameis? And your defense was a lot of times, look how many coordinators Jameis had to go through.
Yep.
Right? So 3 offensive coordinators in 3 years, 3 defensive coordinators in 3 years. So now, the one thing I noticed about watching Texas play the first 2 games, the players, they don't look comfortable yet. And again, yet another new system to learn, right? So you got inexperienced quarterbacks, you got bad O-line play, and you got players kind of paralysis by analysis is they're still trying to figure out where to be. And again, another new system. So let's talk about the TCU game.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to go up against TCU that's got Max Duggan, that's a junior, and he's got some experience. Now they got Zach Evans, which you're probably familiar with from Galena Park North Shore. That's a beast. Texas not winning that game. Gary Patterson is a defensive-minded coach. It's going to be another road game. I don't see them winning that one. I think they can beat Tech because you say, hey, you can't lose both. So I'll say, hey, I'll give us the Tech game. We'll lose to TCU. I think the Oklahoma game is going to get out of hand like the Arkansas game did. And the reason I'm saying that, I'm not saying it because I think the sky is falling. I think Texas fans that were all hell-bent, you got to get rid of Tom. Whenever you make an emotional decision, so you get rid of Tom, then you don't think of the next step. Okay, now everything these guys have known, even the strength coach, which is probably the most important hire, everything is brand new. And that's one thing I saw in that game is that you got a lot of guys that just, they've had more change than consistency, and than the great programs out there. They have more consistency than change. That's why Iowa State has a better program than us. You know why? Because they leave Matt Campbell alone. He doesn't change. The same defensive coordinator Matt Campbell has now is the same one he had in year 1.
Yeah. And part of me wanted to give that reasoning to Ohio State. They promoted their defensive coordinator, but what I saw with that defense is even the group that he covered was responsible for when he was a defensive back coach. Even that looked suspect. I mean, guys were not in position to make plays. Guys left wide receivers open. They were too soft in coverage. So I get what you're saying. I'm just saying, man, Nick Saban has changed offensive coordinators how many times in the last 5 years.
So let's talk about that. That's a great example. So let's look at Ohio. Here's what the here is 3 outliers that okay. You got Ohio State, you got Clemson and Bama. Okay, those 3 teams are not impacted, right, like the rest of the country. Let me tell you why. The talent at Ohio State and Alabama and Clemson is so ridiculous, AJ.
Yeah.
Of just it's so ridiculous. You can get away with that, right? You can get away with the change in the scheme, okay? But when you're at a school where your talent is just not insane like that, you're like when Texas played Arkansas. Did you watch the game and think like, man, Arkansas just don't have the talent that Texas does, right? You know, you didn't look at the game and say, man, you know, Arkansas shouldn't even be on the field. They're slow. They can't move. So those 3 teams, Bama, Clemson, Ohio State, they're the outlier of everything I just said. The teams like Ohio State and Texas and other schools, they got to have the consistency because on Alabama's offensive line, AJ, every year, 3 out of those 5 guys will be in the NFL.
Yeah, now that I will give you.
So,
and I even kind of said that to Longhorn Keys. You know, look at the NFL draft the last 3 years and give me Longhorns.
That's my point. So the consistency at those big programs like Dabo and Nick, I've always felt, and I'm not discrediting Nick Saban or Dabo. They probably are great coaches, right? But when you recruit, there was a stat I read a couple years ago, AJ. And I may butcher the quote, but I want to say it was every 5-star recruit that Nick Saban ever recruited out Alabama, it was like they were all first-round picks. Like Jared Judy, Ruggs, all them receivers, Jalen Waddle, right? That's what I'm saying. The talent is so insane. Let me give an example. You can swap out wide receiver coaches every single year at Alabama with that talent, and you don't miss a beat because the talent is just so off the chart. The programs that have kind of the average, the mediocre talent, you know, they can't. Let me tie it back in. Why is Iowa State and TCU better than Texas's program year in and year out? Gary Patterson's been there over 16 years, right? Matt Campbell's his 8th, 9th year. Therein lies the problem is Texas, if you don't have the talent like those 3 schools I just mentioned, then you're going to have to build consistency. And that's not changing position coaches. And that goes for every other school too.
Right.
You know, the Tech, the U of H. So that's where I think. So when people go to the Nick Saban example and say, well, Nick changes coaches, man, Nick Saban is literally dripping in NFL. I mean, what? He gets like 6 to 8 first rounders.
I'm going to give you that because they got Bill O'Brien looking like an offensive genius over there. And I guarantee you, wherever he ends up next, he's not going to be that Bill O'Brien. I don't mean to, disrespect that man like that. One of these days, he's going to run up on me out in the parking lot somewhere, and I'm going to have to handle him. But I'm just saying, man, I got an Andre Johnson, Cortland Finnegan him. But I'm just saying, it's a whole different deal. It's kind of like Josh McDaniels and all those other coordinators in New England with TB12. It's a whole different deal when you don't have TB12.
Completely different ball game. I think that's what when Texas was adamant about moving on from Tom, and here's what I'll say. It's real funny. Before the season started, everyone kept clowning Tom, right? And I always get accused of being a Tom Herman supporter. And what I always told people is, don't think it can't get worse. Arkansas fired Brett Bielema and went to something called Chad Morris.
Yeah.
And it got way worse.
Yeah.
They started losing to Arkansas State.
Yeah.
Tom Herman never lost a game like that.
Yeah.
On Saturday night. He lost to Maryland.
Yeah.
Did lose to Maryland twice.
Come on, say it with your chest, Ty. Don't say "but" next to that. Let that marinate. Pour some sauce on that.
Hold on.
Let that juice soak in.
Hold on. but Maryland did not wax them. You know what I mean? Maryland didn't run them 40-3 off the field.
Yeah, unlike Arkansas, I said earlier, it was 16-0 at halftime. Texas did not get on the board till the third quarter. That should not happen on that level. Shouldn't happen. Just shouldn't happen. And again, I understand first year coach in a new system, especially at a place like Texas. There were a couple of times where you could see it on Sarkisian's face. I can't believe this is happening. I can't believe this is happening. And he wasn't making adjustments. He wasn't talking to a position coach or a group of players. He was just standing there looking like, I can't believe this is happening. Let me throw this out. L-Dub has a real good point. He says there are more 3-star athletes in the NFL than 5-star. Maybe the rating system is misleading. We all know that rating system is a JOKE. It's all about who folks like and all that. Coach said it yesterday, how scouts would come and say, I'm going to list this guy as a 3rd-round grade and watch all the teams come running down here. That guy has the power over drawing NFL scouts to that player. It's the same thing with the star rating for athletes. You know, somebody likes them, they're 5-star. Somebody don't like them, they're 2.
Well, let's take it like this. If you look, let's take Alabama's receivers.
Wait, Todd. I'm right up against the break. Stay right there. Let me hit this break real quick. And I'm coming back. Todd Malcolm, we're talking your team. If you want to get in, 281-453-1000, 281-453-1000. Charlotte, yeah, I'm going to have to give Bill O'Brien that 2-piece and an order of fries. He meet me out in that parking lot. I'm going to let him say his piece, but he better say it with a little treble in his voice. Better not be full of bass. We'll be right back right after this on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK. Talk Your Team Tuesday.
Get up mornings with Erica Campbell. More prizes and more winners.
You are a winner.
Yay!
Let's get up mornings. Hello, who is this?
This is Leanna.
Hi, Leanna. Where you calling from?
Houston, Texas.
Houston, Texas. Leanna, what is the word of the day?
Party. Join the party, y'all.
Hey! Congratulations. You win $100 in Erica Campbell's cash and a chance for a trip for 2 to fly away to Atlanta. Airfare, hotel, ground transportation, and a chance to meet and greet some of your favorite gospel artists. How you feeling?
I'm claiming that too.
Come on, come on.
That's right.
Now tell us, what show just made you a winner?
Get up mornings with Erica Campbell.
Show did. Congratulations.
I have so many friends that I know.
Ben Tankett, and you are listening to The Lunch Break.
All right, we're right here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK, all new 92.3 FM, streaming live, KYOKradio.org. Strange things happening with my computer right now, given that we've got a major storm that just went through. I ain't mad about it, just glad to be alive. So, hey, again, praying for everybody who's been affected by the storm came through Nicholas. Some folks still dealing with the effects of the damage. Some folks dealing with the effects of the flood, the wind, and Louisiana is coming your way. So y'all, please, please, please be careful. You know, they're still trying to recover from Ida. All right, so I like that beat right there. Hold on. Ty, what you know about that? You over there shimmying?
Always.
Todd, I ain't trying to put you on the spot negatively. Did you graduate from college?
Yeah, U of H.
U of H? Oh, man, poor Todd. Listen, you know, you can pledge grad chapter if you want. You can pledge Kappa grad chapter as long as you got a degree.
And let me know what I need to do so I can break that Kappa shimmy out. Let them know what I've been practicing on.
Bruh, I'm trying to tell you now, there are a couple of other non-African-American brothers in the frat doing big things, bruh. So you could be the next big thing. I'm just letting you know, man. If you want in, I will recommend you.
Let's do it.
Ty, don't play. You mess around, be my friend. We'll tear this thing up, man. We'll tear this thing. We'll be rocking around with little canes out our pockets. Let me stop, Ty. Let me stop. All right. So Willie Gibson said, talking about the ratings, it's very misleading and extremely subjective. He's absolutely right. But you were going to say something right before the break.
Yeah, I think it's it's more accurate than it's not. Let me tell you why. So let's just take receiver position. Henry Ruggs, 5-star. Jalen Waddle, 5-star. Jared Jeudy, 5-star. Jalen Waddle, 5-star. All first-round draft picks. All went to Alabama. Okay? Now let's go to Ohio State. Willie's team. Garrett Wilson, probably the best receiver on the team, 5-star, from Texas, right? They got another kid on there, Jackson something. I can't remember his last name. Rockwall, 5-star. Both start, okay? It's more, when you look at the 5-stars, most of those guys, if you go back and look at the rankings and then the first-round picks, it's not the end-all, be-all. It's obviously a measure and stick, kind of like, NFL Combine or whatever. But what I'm saying is Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State, they sign more 5-stars than anybody else. And those three schools put more guys in the NFL than anybody else. So they're getting topper, high-end talent where when I watch them play, it's like the receivers. It looks like a track team. At LSU, for example, all those guys they had in the NFL, not every single one of them was high. There was one that was like a low 3-star. But those three programs, they're getting the higher-end talent, which is why they can get away with, if they do have a lot of turnover with their position coaches or coordinators, that's how you get away with it. The schools that have the quote-unquote lesser talent, if you will, they got to have consistency to make up for the difference because they don't have the high-end, just the raw athletic ability that the other schools have.
I'm listening to you. I think with everything, there are exceptions. I believe that there might be some people out there trying to do the ratings right, but there are so many out there that have found a way to make it benefit them, and they don't always put the ratings out right. I'll leave it at that. And that's even higher on, that even goes up to the NFL level. I will never forget the scout that put out the report about Cam Newton. And we're not talking about Cam now. We're talking about Cam Newton coming out of Auburn, and the whole nonsense about his personality and him being fake and all that kind of stuff. And this dude has a history of negative, borderline racist scouting reports like that. In fact, he had one about Lamar Jackson. He had one about somebody else. And it's just, this dude is not doing what he's doing legitimately, because nobody ever goes back and holds his butt accountable for these negative rates. What did he have to say after Cam Newton in his very first game threw for more yards than any NFL quarterback in history? That still stands today, by the way. Had more touchdowns than any other rookie as a quarterback in NFL. I think it was rushing touchdowns in NFL history. That still stands, by the way. And, ended up winning an MVP, taking a team to a Super Bowl, 15-1. There are too many guys out there, and I'm saying guys because the ladies don't do that. The guys out there that get their testosterone level up and they decide they're going to do what they want to do as opposed to what they should do. Those are the ones that's killing it for the guys you're talking about.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. So it's, I see it more right than wrong. When you look at the highly rated quarterbacks, the Tuas, the Trevor Lawrences, right? Guys like that, they end up being hidden more than not, right? Of, hey, it's going to be a top draft pick. Ohio State, when Urban was there, he was getting top draft picks year after year. Justin Fields, even though he started at Georgia, top recruit in the country, first-round draft pick. There's more correlations to that being right, AJ, than it being wrong. You know what I mean? It's not perfect, but the Justin Fields of the world, Player of the Year, Gatorade Player of the Year, all that, more times than not, that dude ends up being a superstar.
But here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. Players don't even get a chance to get in those, those all-star games. They don't get a chance to get invited to certain camps and things like that because the initial rating on them was wrong. So when we say they get it right, yeah, they obviously get good players in those games who go on to do great things. It's the players that don't ever get in those games and get that kind of attention because somebody decided they were a 2-star because they wouldn't agree to go to the school that they thought that they should go to, or they didn't give them the access to them that they thought that they should get. They got into it with one of their parents or their uncle or somebody, whatever the truly subjective stuff, the stuff that had nothing to do with the. It's like the idiot, and yeah, I called him by that name. It's like the idiot that said, I would not have voted for Terrell Owens to be in the Hall of Fame if I had known he was not going to show up to the event. How in the heck does him showing up to the event affect his ability to be a Hall of Famer?
That's a good point.
And don't get me started on your boy Anwar, because I've been following his butt for a little while in the background, and he's another one of them dudes that if he likes him, he's going to say something good about him. If he doesn't, he's going to try to pick them apart. And it's like, dude, how did you get a Hall of Fame vote when you're not the least bit objective?
No, that's a good point. I mean, I think to your point, Trey Lance would be one of those guys, wasn't highly recruited, right? He probably wasn't invited to any of those all-star games. And I want to say North Dakota State was the only one that offered him a scholarship as a quarterback. It's not a perfect system, just like, NFL draft is not a perfect system. You got guys go later in the rounds and, look at a guy for the Bucks. I'm thinking about him because they played the Cowboys not too recently. Shaquille Barrett, undrafted.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How does a guy like Shaquille Barrett not get drafted? And not only did he not get drafted, AJ, he went to Colorado State. And he wouldn't even his evaluation coming out of high school was wrong, and then his evaluation coming out of college was wrong. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And now he's one of the best pass rushers in the NFL.
Right. All I'm gonna say I hear your stats on the majority of them being right. There's a whole lot that got it wrong. I was talking with the coaches yesterday. There's no way in the world Jerry Rice would be Jerry Rice without Willie Totten. There's no way in the world you could tell me, I don't know how many teams that they had back then. Let's say they had 30 teams or 20. There's no way they could tell me they had 20 better quarterbacks than Willie Totten. But Willie Totten never got the grade or the ability to show what he could do at the NFL level. And I told I forgot who I was talking to. I think it was Willie. I did a Black History Month interview with a guy that played in a professional all-black league, and they had guys in there that eventually made the jump over to the NFL, similar to when with players that broke the color barrier in Major League Baseball and other sports. And again, folks had to go different routes because they couldn't break into the good old boys club.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate.
And again, I'm not making it a race thing. I want to keep it focused on the stars and the ratings and the draft grades and all that kind of stuff. Somebody is making that decision, and general managers, head coaches, and front office execs are making the decision based on somebody saying this is the third-round draft grade, this is a first-round draft grade, this is a 5-star athlete, this is a 4-star athlete, 3-star athlete. Those decisions are being made on somebody's opinion. And, I'm so glad Ashton Washington is now in the scouting rank. She's going to be a scout for the Chicago Bears. One thing I know about Ashton, she's going to be honest. She's going to be honest. Whatever she puts on that report is going to be based on what she saw, based on what she, researched, and she's going to do her work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think with stuff like that, just like the NFL draft, college, it'll never be, the system will never be perfect. Because like I said, it's people's opinions, right? It's like hiring people.
Right.
Sometimes you don't hire the right candidate, even though on paper it looked like the right candidate. But that's my college football breakdown of, you look at, kind of even to your point with Ohio State, even though, they're breaking in a new quarterback, even though he still played, I didn't think he's played bad, it's still new. You know what I mean? So
he put up enough points for them to win. He put them in a position to win. With all the mistakes that he made, all of the overthrows, he put them in a position to win, and the defense let him down. It happens. And, you know, I heard the commentary on Trevor Lawrence. I had my headphones on. I was listening to some of that after the, on the replay. And let me tell you something. In their eyes, Trevor Lawrence didn't do anything wrong. Even on the overthrows, the receivers got to run through the route. Even on balls that were thrown high over the middle, the receivers got to pull that in. You know, it's the commentary can make it seem like a guy was better than he was, and then the commentary can be so harsh that it can make a guy seem like he was worse than he was. C.J. Stroud did enough to win that game. He didn't play on the defensive side.
Yeah, and I think, you know, the benefit C.J. Stroud has versus the Casey Thompson is obviously C.J. Stroud has a really good offensive line, right? And he's got some really good talented weapons around him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that is the biggest. That's why you asked me about Casey Thompson earlier. It doesn't really move the needle much for me because outside of Bijan, there's no real help around him. I think the benefit C.J. Stroud has as he gets more experience during that whole time, he's got a really good line, and he's got running backs and receivers for days that are really, really talented. So that learning curve will be much quicker when you have that help around you and you don't feel like you're running for your life.
Yeah, no, I agree. Todd, I hope you guys do what y'all supposed to do against Rice. I hope the Ohio State University does what they're supposed to do this week, and, you know, we'll see who ends up in that college football playoffs at the end of the year.
Yep.
Yeah. But, you know, hey, they happen. Not everybody wins them.
Yep. I appreciate it, AJ. Thanks for the time, okay?
All right, bro. Now do what your witness protection people tell you to do. Don't be on that payphone next to the corner stuff.
All right, man. Take care, AJ.
All right,
Thank
brother.
you.
Talk to you later. All right, y'all. I got to take a break. I'll get you some of your comments after this on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK.
In need of tires? Check out OMG Tire Services and more. New and used tires, all the name brands you desire, located at 3126 Tidwell between 59 North and Jensen. Give them a call at 832-767-3211. Top-notch service from beginning to end. When you're done, get your car hand-washed inside and out at OMG Tire Services and more. Located at 3126 Tidwell between 59 North and Jensen. Call 832-767-3211. That's 832-767-3211. Conveniently located on the north side.
The legendary KYOK 1140 AM. The legendary KYOK 92.3 FM. Two radio stations in one.
From Jamaica, play with Indianapolis Colts, and you listen to Lunch Break.
All right, y'all, back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I'm sorry, I'm turning on the wrong thing, turning off the wrong thing. Talk Your Team Tuesday, y'all got me going today. Talk Your Team Tuesday, y'all got me going today. L-Dub said, if any player runs a 4.340, they get 5 stars. If you play for an Alabama or an Ohio State, it's easier to be a star because you have so many other players to defend. If your train is average with other 5 stars and you double team him, he looks like a 2-star and don't get the draft status because he's just as good as the 5-star. Willie Gibson says on Saturday, C.J. Stroud threw for the second most single game yardage in school history. For the first time in school history, Ohio State had 3 100-yard receivers in the same game. I'm with you on that, Willie. The folks that think that C.J. Stroud is the problem, I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm gonna leave that alone. Willie L-Dub said my guy Grant Stewart of U of H was Mr. Irrelevant, and he's on the 53-man roster at Tampa. There are 3rd, 4th, and 5th, 6th, and 7th round picks cut. Someone missed badly. No judge of talent. And then L-Dub said, opportunity. That's all that's asked. I agree with that. wholeheartedly. There are plenty of guys out there that if you just give them an opportunity, But there's only so many opportunities to get on 53-man rosters, 15-man NBA rosters. I forget how many they carry in baseball, but there's only so many roster opportunities to get. Heck, in the WNBA, there was first-round talent that was cut off of teams because of new young ladies coming in, which tells me they need to expand in the WNBA. They need expansion like crazy. So it's not always what it's cut out to be. And then again, there is a lot of, hey, if you go to this school, I'm going to give you a 5-star rating. If you go to that school, I'm going to rank you at 3 stars. If you use this shoe brand, I'm going to give you this. If you use that shoe brand, I'm going to give you that. Trust me when I tell you, it ain't as clean as people want it to believe that it is. It's not. It is not. And I'm not even going to get deeper than that. I'll leave it at that. Talk Your Team Tuesday. Talk Your Team Tuesday. Let's see. I'm sorry. I'm sending a message. Talk Your Team Tuesday. Talk Your Team Tuesday. All right. So I am I'm like Longhorn Keith. I get all kinds of crazy, you this, you that, you the other. I probably should screenshot some of that because I know some of y'all don't believe I get them. You're like, oh, here AJ just talking. But it's amazing at how worked up some people get about sports, which is why we have this show, Talk Your Team Too, because you can call and, just go off on your team in a good way. Like, oh, my team's the best they ever was. You lost to Arkansas, but they still the best there ever was. Okay. That's how you believe about your team. Texan fans out there were set up for a dismal year. Now they're thinking they might win the AFC South. Talk your team. Talk your team. I love the Ohio State University. I was an Ohio State University and Notre Dame fan growing up. Even when I got down in New Orleans, Ohio State, Notre Dame. Now, when Notre Dame did Ty Willingham the way that they did, and I got to try to be respectful with Charlie Weiss when his big non-head self came in talking about, oh, you are what your record is. You are what your record is. And then he ended up having a worse record than Ty Willingham, and he had nothing to say then. I got off the Notre Dame train after that. And by the way, they remind me year after year that I made the right choice. But I'm still rocking with the Ohio State University. Got a lot of respect for all the HBCUs, all of them. Got a lot of respect for other teams. But I'm 100% the Ohio State University. Are they always going to be undefeated? No. Are they always going to win the national championship? There's years that they didn't even get a chance to compete for it, and they should have. But I'm always going to rock with them. That being said, I'm objective. That defense has got to play better. I asked Willie Gibson earlier in the month about, the defensive pressure. Chase Young is gone. They don't have another Bosa brother coming through. Where's the pressure going to come? They haven't had a chance to really get to that because there's leaks in the secondary and quarterbacks are getting the ball out quickly. I don't care how great C.J. Stroud is, you can't always outscore your problems. For all my Texan fans out there, long-term Texan fans out there, remember before Gary Kubiak's team plummeted to 2-14, they had the ability to outscore their problems. They had some of the worst statistical defenses, but their offense was so high-powered that they could outscore their problems. Peyton Manning helped the Indianapolis Colts outscore a lot of their problems. As soon as they didn't have Peyton Manning, all of a sudden that defense looked horrible. Tom Brady, for years, helped the New England Patriots outscore some of their problems as soon as they didn't have Tom Brady. Those problems popped up. Talk Your Team Tuesday. I'm hearing word that John Wall has agreed to not play for the Houston Rockets until they could work out a trade. I kind of like it, not because I don't like John Wall. I think John Wall showed a whole lot of teams that he can still play. I feel like he has fully recovered from the Achilles. I think he's recovered from the knee. Yes, he had injury problems, but you got to remember, he was coming back for the first time in 2 years. In 2 years. I don't know exactly what the Rockets need, but they work out a trade with another team and get some help in the front court, help, in the wherever they need it. That's one thing. They definitely don't need any more help in the backcourt. They've got some young players that they really need to give minutes to. And somebody was talking about Ben Simmons for John Wall and whatever, else needs to go with that. I don't like it. Ben Simmons comes in and he takes minutes away from, whomever. If it's not Kevin Porter Jr. and Jalen Green, I don't want to see it unless they're on the bench, resting, getting ready to come back in. If you're going to rebuild. Pull the scab off and let's go. Let that thing heal. Charlotte say they need a lot of help, period. I don't think that's the case, and I'm going to tell you why. I think they need a lot of maturity. They've got young players that need to learn on the job. The Rockets drafted young. They decided to ship everybody out. Eric Gordon, John Wall, both of them need to be gone. And I'll say this, and I know he's a local favorite, Danuel House needs to be gone too. Let those young guys play. It might not be this year, it might not be next year, but eventually that team's going to be hard to beat. I love what Casey said up in Detroit. You better get your licks in now because at some point we're going to be hard to beat. I think they need help at the 4. I feel like they've got some help at the 5, but I just feel like they need to get some depth. Now with COVID and injuries, it's hard to keep a solid roster for 72 games, let alone 82. And they're going back to a full schedule this year. Let them kids get out there, young men get out there, and let them learn on the court. A lot of folks forget what the Splash Brothers were like originally, talking about Steph, Clay, and then you add in Draymond. They weren't world beaters at first. I think they won 51. What were they, 51 and 31? Willie Gibson, I know, would know. What were they the year before that? And then they made the change to Steve Kerr, added some depth, brought in some veteran, role players, and then all of a sudden they were unbeatable. I love John Wall. I love what he brought in here when he came in. Him and Boogie Cousins both. They changed the attitude and the culture from James Harden because I can't just put it on Russ because it was Chris Paul, it was Dwight Howard, but James Harden they changed that culture for them. It's not their teams anymore. It is not their team anymore. So yeah, let's look at what the team looks like. Kevin Porter Jr., Jalen Green, Kenyon Martin Jr. KJ. Jashawn Tate. Let's look at what the team looks now with those guys. I love John Wall. Get John Wall to Philly. That's what you do. But I don't know if we want Ben Simmons back. Might be somebody else on that roster that can help. Charlotte, so do you think the Rockets have the right coach? I sure do. I don't think he came on board thinking that they were going to rebuild this. So, in fact, he came on board thinking he was going to have James Harden and Russ Westbrook. That's what he thought. Eric Gordon, PJ Tucker. That's what he thought. So, yeah, I think they got the right guy. Rockets are still my team. Rockets are still my team. But let me say this for the record, very early on. Keep laughing about the Lakers. Keep laughing about the Lakers. I keep telling y'all, man, y'all are motivating the wrong dude, and I'm not talking about me. LeBron James is in the lab. He is in the gym. He is, and I'm not talking about the basketball gym. I'm talking about the weight room. Y'all keep messing with that dude, man. Y'all gonna find out. Y'all gonna find out what Kevin Hart say. They gonna learn today. Oh, they're old. Oh, they're geriatric. Oh, they're this, they're that. All right. You got people who couldn't make a rec league talking about a dude who's one of the best to play the game. And he's got his squad in there. Okay. All right. I'm not saying they're going to win it all. I'm just saying the West might look a little different this year than it did last year. Charlotte said the Lakers have a plan. I like him, but not the Lakers. All I'm saying is watch out for him. Watch out for them. What's crazy was nobody was saying about Brooklyn what they're saying about the Lakers when Brooklyn was bringing in all those old dudes. Remember when they brought in they brought in all these old players. They brought them all in. Everybody's like, oh, Brooklyn's stacked. The Lakers get some older guys. Oh, the Lakers are old. All right. L-Dub, LeBron is the second best GM ever. Jerry West is the best. Let me say this. I don't disagree with what you're saying, but Draymond Green is a pretty good GM as well. Draymond Green is a pretty good GM as well. One of the best. One of the best. Remember when Mitch Kupchak was running the Lakers? Remember when everybody was like, they love Mitch? Where's Mitch now? But anyway, I say this to say, again, L-Dub, okay, I'll take that. Draymond Green get on that phone and start crying. Yo, Kevin, man, if you just come to Oakland, man, we'll win chips, man. We'll win a bunch of chips. Did Charlotte say, what did you say? The Brooklyn Hairnets? Sorry, just glad Harden is gone. You leave Harden alone. They brought in all those old players, bought dudes out of their contracts and everything. Oh, Brooklyn is stacked. The Lakers do the same thing, and now all of a sudden they all old. All right. Talk your team Tuesday. If you're not a Milwaukee Buck fan or a Phoenix Sun fan, your teams did exactly what the Rockets and Lakers and everybody else did. Oh, speaking of that, can I do birthdays now? Let me do birthdays now because there's a dude on the birthday list that I want to make sure I get him in. Where my birthdays? Hold on. Get out of the way. Move. Get out of the way. Move. Get out of the way. All right. So let me do these birthdays real quick because I don't think I got a chance to do them yesterday. Or I think I just did the local birthdays and I didn't do the celebrity birthdays. So in the middle of a storm, let me hit these birthdays real quick. Kevin Victor, the barbecue man. Kevin! Happy birthday to you, man. Happy birthday. Whoever's calling, stay right there. Dexter Utley celebrating his birthday. He's the fofo. LaToya Talton with her pretty self celebrating her birthday along with Daryl Thomas. Charles Carey. What's up, Charles? What's up, 57? Christopher Hines, Music Self, Tina Shuford, and Michael Gaines from Forest Park, Ohio. And then the celebrity birthdays for today. The coach, Larry Brown, celebrating his birthday today. The coach who literally spawned the what do you want to call it? The speech, the interview where Allen Iverson said, Practice? What are we talking about? Practice? Not the game. Not the game. We talk about practice. That was because of Larry Brown. It's his birthday today. And then one of the baddest dudes in the game. I still like this brother's flow. From Houston, Texas, none other than Jimmy Buckets Butler, celebrating his birthday today. And he's got to be one of the happiest men in the building because, baby, Miami went out and got stronger. Happy birthday, Buckets. All right, y'all. Come on, Usher, do your thing.
Oh, go shawty, it's your birthday. Ooh, it's your birthday. Go shawty, it's your birthday. Today's your day.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you.
All right, y'all. Happy birthday to you and yours. If you got a birthday, special anniversary coming up, you got to let me know about it so I can wish you and yours a happy birthday. All right, somebody just called. Call back. Call back. I got time to get you in. I just had to get Jimmy Butler's birthday on. I ain't want him to think I forgot about it. I don't need – now, that's one. If he ran up on me, I'm going to try not to get a two-piece with fries, not give him one, not get – Jimmy Butler looks like he'll go hard on you. Didn't he do that with one of his former teams? Didn't he call out everybody on the team on one of his former teams? Let's see. L-Dub said, all new Lakers on a one-year deal, put up or shut out or ship out. Man, listen, we're going to see. Hello, you're live on the lunch break. Who's this?
It's Keith Hennick. How are you?
Call of the year 2020. What's up, man?
Well, I wanted to comment on last night, Raiders-Ravens. You know that I don't care for Chucky, but he managed to pull one out. And I don't think he's going to pull too many more out like that, although they look pretty good. Wouldn't you agree?
Right.
At times.
And I give credit where credit is due. He coached his team up, made adjustments enough for them to win that game. So I'm not going to hate on John Gruden when he coaches a game like that. Same thing with Derek Carr. Dude made the plays necessary to keep his team in it. And, again, Lamar Jackson should have done, in my opinion, enough to get the win. The defense let him down.
I agree. Lamar Jackson is a special quarterback. I do, and I commented earlier, I wish he would learn to slide instead of letting himself get beaten up like that. But he is a very special quarterback. And, he's in a tough division, so we'll see what happens. What really hurt me last night was seeing Gerald McCoy being hauled off on a golf cart because I have a lot of love for that guy. Yep. And I think that was a career ender, don't you?
I'm not ready to say career ending, but, obviously he's done for the year.
Yeah, well, he's got to be 40 years old, doesn't he?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's all I've got. The Bucks play Atlanta this week, and
I don't think y'all gonna have any problems whatsoever. I mean, in fact, I know that's not your team. What in the world has happened to Matt Ryan?
For years, he played at a very high level, but I can't explain why he is so diminished now. Mm-hmm. I just simply cannot understand it. Mm-hmm. And I do think that most of Atlanta's problems are on Matt Ryan. And, maybe it's time for younger blood in Atlanta. I don't know.
And I say that because not everybody can be Tom Brady. And I'm not talking about as far as production. I'm talking about age and maintaining their level of production. Maybe age has caught up with Matt Ryan sooner than folks want to admit because he is definitely not getting Atlanta over the hump. And that might have been his one and only shot back in Super Bowl 51.
And you could be quite correct about that. And if I'm not mistaken, he and Aaron Rodgers are pretty close in age. And I don't know what's up with Aaron Rodgers either.
Yeah, man. You know what?
I think he may have just mailed it in for this year. He knows where he's going to be next year.
Keith, I hate to admit that. I thought Aaron Rodgers was going to ball out and show everybody how wrong he was. But he might have gone with violence instead. He might have chosen violence. That's a Game of Thrones reference. He might have chosen violence rather than balling out. He might have just said, "Hey, listen, I ain't doing it."
Well, I initially thought that he would be the Super Bowl MVP for this year, that he was going to go out in a blaze, and he just looks so disinterested that it makes me wonder if he just hadn't mailed it in and said, "Sorry, Packers, you made me play here. You're going to get what I give you." And that would be really disappointing for Aaron Rodgers as far as a person, but he's surrounded by drama anyway, so he's creating some more.
Yeah, no, I think you might be right. It's going to be an interesting year up in the NFC North, and obviously, I think that the Bucs are still the team to beat in the NFC South. But boy, did my Saints look good!
I want to tell you something. Jameis Winston broke my heart for years, year in and year out. But of course, he had to learn a new system. I think Todd alluded to learning new systems every year, and he's had 2 years to learn under Drew Brees and Sean Payton, and I think he is going to be a star. He looked phenomenal to me.
Yeah, he's under the right guy to be productive. And folks look at the amount of yards and 14 for 20 and everything. It's productivity, bro. 5 touchdowns on 20 passes, 5 touchdowns on 20. I'll take that. I'll take that every day of the week.
I'm a big Bruce Arians guy, but I don't understand the decision to let him walk away, because he could have learned under Tom Brady as well as he did under Drew Brees and just stepped up.
Yeah, I agree.
But, it's a business. I understand business, but that one to me is a head scratcher.
I'm going to say the same thing that you just said about Matt Ryan. If they bring in a Cam Newton and put him behind Matt, whenever Matt doesn't play well or God forbid something happens to Matt, you got a capable person who can do some things down there in Atlanta. And oh, yeah, by the way, Cam Newton's culture, aura, as he likes to call it, fits very much better in Atlanta than it does anywhere else. Definitely better than it does up in the Boston area.
Oh, I totally agree. I think Cam Newton would be a great addition to the Falcons, because I just watched Matt Ryan falter time and time again, and I thought, God, they need a quarterback. They really do, and Cam Newton would be an excellent fit. I really would hate to see him in the NFC South, because that'll really make that division tough. But time will tell. I think he's just biding his time for the right opportunity, and he'll make the most of it when he gets it.
Yep, no, I agree with you on that. But appreciate you, Keith. You be safe out there, brother.
You do the same. Thanks again.
All right, Keith Hennick, Call of the Year 2020. Love that dude. Let me get one more call in before we call it a show. Hello, you're live on the lunch break. Who's this?
Hey, Jay, this is Clarence. How you doing?
Clarence, I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm doing great, sir. Thanks for asking.
What you got on Talk Your Team Tuesday?
Well, on the game last night, do you think Derek Carr looks like he can be the Undertaker's son? he went out there with that Undertaker look in his eyes, and all he was missing was his hat. And you heard him playing the theme song in the background.
That is hilarious. Out of all the things that I heard today, that is by far the funniest. That is now you got me getting ready to go back and look at this man again. Brother, you are funny, man. Thank you for this.
But also, AJ, like the gentleman just said, Newton, give him one more week of this stuff with these quarterbacks that they think they got out there better than him, and he'll be in somebody's camp.
Yeah, I agree with you. I said by week 4 he'd be on a roster. They don't need to wait too late, because he's going to need time to learn their system, playbook, whatever. But I believe by week 4, Cam Newton will be in somebody's roster. And the whole argument, he didn't want to be a backup. Cam Newton himself said he had no problem backing up Matt Jones, let alone anybody else.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But the antics that he always pulling, I think that he couldn't do that kind of stuff up there in New England. That was the biggest problem right there. he is his own man, and they don't play up anyway. As you see what's happening right here with the New England, what you call that? New England Texans?
Yeah, the New England Texans. You got it right. That's a shame, man.
So we'll see. I'm pretty sure you got people thinking about it.
Yeah, I got you. Hey, who you got this weekend, Texans or Cleveland?
I would love to say Cleveland, but Lovie Smith defense is just something else. And that's the only thing got me changing my mind, because I'm a Cowboy man.
Yeah, no, I know. Yep.
I'm a Cowboy man, but my heart left when the Oilers went to Tennessee. But Lovey might make me. He did make me watch the game.
Yeah, I got you. Who you got, Cowboys or the Chargers this weekend?
Yeah, Cowboy.
Okay, all right. I just thought I'd ask just in case.
I got people. I'm trying to get them to get me on where I can send my little stuff in, because I'm old school. I ain't computer wise like everybody, and I just out of all the teams, I only missed 4 games.
Okay.
Out of all the games, so I thought I did pretty good. I'm trying to figure out how to get on and do your stuff.
Well, Clarence, figure it out, and if you need my help, just on that text number that I give out, just get at me, and I'll do whatever I can to help you. All right?
Yes, sir. And that's at 832.
Yes, sir.
403.
Yes, sir. 832-403-5005. Just get at me, and we'll work it out.
All right, I sure will. And I think you got a great show. I wish more your people that have football, basketball, baseball, all this knowledge, instead of all that texting, these youngsters you got, all they want to do is text you stuff instead of call in and open you up. Because once they get you started, it's good.
Clarence, you all right, man? From your mouth to God's ears. I appreciate you, brother.
Yes, sir. Because like you said, wasn't for God, you wouldn't be hearing this little regular voice I got now. And these youngsters, they need to go ahead on and use their voice.
You said about.
I remember when I lost mine, and I'm grateful for what I got now.
Bless you, man. Hey, we got to get ready to run, brother. But call me again soon, okay?
Yes, sir. Listen to you all the time, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Clarence. Hey, listen, we got to get ready to go. Donnie McClurkin up next with the Donnie McClurkin Show. As always, let's not be divided. Let's be united. I truly do love you. There's nothing you can do about it. Y'all be safe out there in this weather. We'll talk to you tomorrow for Winning Wednesday. We'll let you know who won this week's version of the Lunch Break, Keeping Up with the Joneses Pick'em Challenge, right here on the legendary KYOK.
The legendary 1140 AM KYOK Conroe and 92.3 FM K222CX Houston.
Anybody want to hear a little cooling water?
All right, y'all. I hope y'all enjoyed the show. Thank y'all for being patient with me, man. A lot going on with this weather and everything like that up here. But, hey, we're yet holding on. Louisiana, it's coming your way. Please know that we got y'all covered. But, again, y'all, not this, definitely this. Y'all be safe. We'll talk to you tomorrow, Winning Wednesday. We'll see who had the best picks. I already know I did, but we'll see who else got them and who won the money. All right, y'all. Y'all be safe. We'll talk to you later.